In this video, I would like to ask you a question. What does it mean to live a truly meaningful life? Many people believe that greatness comes from power, wealth, fame, or success. The world often teaches us to climb higher, seek recognition, and put ourselves first. But when Jesus came into the world, he introduced a completely different way of living. He taught that true greatness is not found in being served, it is found in serving others. One of the most powerful examples of this lesson took place on the night before his crucifixion. Jesus gathered with his disciples for the Passover meal. They had walked with him for years, witnessed miracles, and listened to his teachings. Yet on that evening, Jesus chose to teach them one final lesson, not through words alone, but through an unforgettable act of humility. In those days, people traveled on dusty roads wearing sandals. Washing a guest's feet was considered one of the lowest tasks in a household, usually performed by the least important servant. But something remarkable happened. Jesus, the Son of God, stood up from the table, wrapped a towel around his waist, poured water into a basin, and began washing the feet of his disciples. Imagine the surprise in the room. The one they called Master and Lord was doing the work of a servant. Peter could hardly believe it. He protested because he thought Jesus deserved honor, not humble service. But Jesus gently explained that unless they understood this lesson, they would miss the heart of his mission. After washing their feet, Jesus said, "I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you." With those words, Jesus changed the world's definition of leadership. Forever, he showed that the strongest people are often the most humble. The greatest leaders are those who lift others up. The most meaningful lives are lived in service to God and to one another. Throughout his ministry, Jesus never looked for opportunities to be praised. Instead, he looked for people who were hurting. He fed the hungry, he comforted the grieving, he healed the sick, he welcomed children, he encouraged those who had lost hope, he showed compassion to people whom society ignored and treated everyone with dignity and love. Jesus didn't ask, "What can people do for me?" Instead, he asked, "How can I help them?" That question still challenges us today. Serving others doesn't always require extraordinary abilities or great wealth. Sometimes the greatest acts of service are the simplest offering a word of encouragement to someone who feels discouraged, helping a neighbor with a difficult task, listening patiently to a friend who needs someone to care, sharing a meal with someone who is lonely, visiting a person who feels forgotten, praying for those who are carrying heavy burdens. These moments may seem small, but in God's eyes, they are acts of love that can change lives. The beautiful truth is that serving others transforms not only the person receiving kindness, but also the person giving it. When we serve with a sincere heart, we grow in patience, we learn compassion, we become more grateful for the blessings God has given us, and little by little, our hearts begin to reflect the character of Christ. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become focused on our own schedules, goals, and responsibilities, but Jesus invites us to slow down long enough to notice the people around us, the co-worker who is quietly struggling, the elderly neighbor who feels alone, the child who needs encouragement, the family facing unexpected hardship. Often, the greatest opportunities to serve are hidden in the ordinary moments of everyday life. Jesus also taught that even the smallest acts of kindness matter. A cup of cold water given in love, a gentle word spoken at the right time, a helping hand offered without expecting anything in return. No act of genuine love is ever too small in the kingdom of God. Every kindness becomes a seed of hope. Every act of service becomes a reflection of God's love, imagine what our families, churches, schools, workplaces, and communities would look like if each of us chose to serve rather than be served. Pride would give way to humility, division would give way to unity, selfishness would give way to generosity, and hearts would be drawn closer to the love of Christ. Jesus never promised that serving others would always be easy. Sometimes it requires sacrifice. Sometimes it means giving our time when we feel busy. Sometimes it calls us to forgive, to be patient, or to love people who may never thank us. Yet every act of selfless service becomes an offering of worship to God. Today, ask yourself one simple question: who can I serve today? Perhaps it's someone in your own home, a friend who needs encouragement, a stranger who could use a smile, a neighbor who needs a helping hand. You don't have to change the whole world in one day, but through God's grace, you can change one person's day with one act of kindness, and that is exactly the kind of life Jesus calls us to live. So let us follow his example, not by seeking recognition, but by serving with humility, loving without conditions, and giving generously from the blessings God has entrusted to us. For when we serve others with sincere hearts, we are not only helping people, we are reflecting the heart of Jesus himself, and in doing so, we discover that the greatest joy in life is found not in what we receive, but in what we lovingly give. I thank you for subscribing my channel and share with others. God bless you and your family.